This Stanley number 3, this is from between 1999, excuse me, 18. So this is episode number 3 on restoring a hand plane. I have this beautiful Stanley number 3. It is, I believe, a Type 8 off the top of my head, between 1899 and 1903, I think, around that figure. Someone will probably correct me in the comments below. This is a really nice hand plane. The iron has been replaced, so it's not original, but everything else on it's original. It has this crack that has been brazed, but they've done a fantastic job with it. And I really want to do this well, so I'm going to strip the paint down and turn it into this. Then I also have a number 7. This is a Type 12, fantastic. It has all the bells and whistles you really want in a hand plane, and this is a beautiful, beautiful hand plane. And this condition is not what it looks like at the beginning of this video. So I really want to strip this down and do a complete restore on it, make it look good, make it function well. And what do you want to do when you want to completely restore a hand plane? So let's take a look at this. Once more, I want to take apart a hand plane, and in this case I'm taking apart 2 hand planes that are really nice. I really like these. I want to be very careful with them, not to strip out any of the brass, and taking my time making sure that everything is taken apart correctly and that all the pieces are there. When opening up the frog, I found I had a pile of rust underneath there. They were in worse shape than I was expecting, but with some work we can make them shine again. So I put the blade and the chip breaker into a vinegar bath, let them soak for 12 hours, and then scrub them off, making sure to dry them completely afterwards, and then oil them up so the rust doesn't build up anymore. On the tote and knob, I wanted to scrape off all the old shellac. The side of a chisel works great for this particular application. In some cases I will clamp it into a vise on the bench and then use a card scraper, but the shellac peels off very nicely. Sometimes a little bit of sandpaper works, but I like the side of a chisel for 90% of the work. After the shellac has come off, then I can sand them down and then put in boiled linseed oil and a paste wax finish. I did a video recently on how I apply this, and it's my favorite finish for hand tools. Now here's where things go wrong. I use power. Well, I'm not actually doing any woodworking, so I figure this is okay. And I've done other things with vinegar baths, but I really wanted to do sandblasting on these. It leaves a much better finish, and the sandblaster will take off the old paint and crud, and here you can see how well it actually just cleans the paint right off the surface, leaving you a great surface for final finishing, and the paint you want to put on in the future gets on very well. You can get inside things very nicely, and it leaves you with a great surface for painting. So once it's all been sandblasted and cleaned, I can mask it off and use the tape on all surfaces where I don't want paint to go. I can make sure that it is a very clean paint job if I take my time on masking this off. And this is something I kind of enjoy. Now once it's been masked off, I need to primer everything. The bare steel needs something to soak into it so that the paint can adhere to it better. And so I use this Rust-Oleum white primer, and then I can paint it. And yes, the number 3 is my own personal hand plane that I'm going to be using, and so I'm painting it blue, a metallic speckle blue. I do that for all of my personal tools in my shop. I like the way it looks, and makes me happy, and that's what the wood shop is all about. So my personal tools are blue, but the tools that I'm doing for someone else are the original black, and give it a nice finish. Both look good, but for me, I like the blue in my shop. With a little bit of time, you can start to peel everything off and see what it looks like, and I love this point in the job. I use a file to clean off any of the mating surfaces just to make sure that there's nothing rough on them so that they sit well together, especially on the frog where the iron rests against it. I want to make sure it's a nice flat surface. Then all of the metal surfaces that aren't painted need to have an oil put into them so that they don't surface rust. I use a WD-40 specialized that is for rust protection. Fits very well.
locks it all together, and all the surfaces inside, especially underneath the frog, they are protected from rust. And then on to flattening. Now with this number 7 and number 8 or anything big like that, they can become very difficult. But I use a Sharpie to mark out the whole surface so that I know what has been sanded and what has not. Then one of the big keys is starting off with a low enough grit. This is a 30 grit belt sanding belt. It's 6 inches by 40 some inches and is great for this. I clamp one end on a piece of glass and I just can sand it away. This really only takes about 10-15 minutes to get a nice flat surface all the way across. And I am looking for a really good flat surface on this one all the way across, especially at the mouth, heel, and toe. But on these, I like it to be really good and flat. After 30 grit, I take it to higher grits and then all the way down to a 400 grit on this sponge. It allows me to kind of buff the surface and make it look good. This is not going to take it out of flat because it's such a light grit, but it does make the surface look good. It breaks all the edges so that you don't have any hard edges that might ding up your wood, and it gives it a nice feel afterwards. Also helps protect it against rust a little bit, and that it's not as porous of a surface afterwards. Then on to sharpening the iron. I'm not going to go into this into too much detail. The last 2 videos have covered it far better. But I flatten the back and then put a bevel on it, just like I did with the others. Then the fun part, testing. And this beauty cuts like butter. Well, it cuts like a knife through butter. But I love the shavings that come off of this. You can tighten them up and do some nice things. This number 3 I was able to turn into a smoother, and the shavings that come off of it are less than 1/1000th of an inch. And it's kind of hard to stop planing when there's so much fun. But this is what it looked like before, and not all that happy. But this is what it looks like now. And that is a tool that will work for many, many more years. It'll last another 100 years. The number 3, it was better than the number 7, but yeah, I think it looks even better now. So I love these tools.
There you have it. I am in love with how these hand planes came out. They are just beautiful and everything I was hoping for. And I am really enjoying using the sandblasting. I'm probably going to be doing that in the future for real detail restores. I know it's not a hand tool. I'm sorry. If you want to, there are other ways of removing paint, but this is, in my opinion, one of the best ways to treat a tool very well. So yeah, I am happy with how these came out, and I'm looking forward to using this number 3, and I'm sending this number 7 off to its owner, and I hope he enjoys it as much as I do. This is the 3rd video in a series on restoring hand planes. I've done 2 other methods of restoring hand planes, some that are just quick and get them into use, another one that's, make it look kind of clean and then get it into use. If you want to see those, you can click the link in the cards and it'll take you to that. I hope you liked this video. It was a fun one for me. If you did, think about hitting like or possibly even subscribing. I do want to say a huge thank you to the patrons on Patreon. You guys are incredibly phenomenal and an encouragement to me, so thank you for that. If you want to find out more, you can click the link over here. If you did like this video, feel free to check out one of these others. You might find something you like there. And until next time, have a wonderful day.